Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another broadcast of The Weekly with me, Neff. Please subscribe to the channel and share this video with a couple of friends and colleagues. It helps us out a lot, and we are trying to reach 1,000 subscriptions. Every subscription helps us out with that goal. We have a box office battle this weekend, ladies and gents, and it might be one that you weren't thinking too much about. It's going to be between the Thunderbolts, which is basically the new Avengers now, and Sinners, a film that's still running strong from Warner Brothers in theaters. Let's read into some of the details here, and then we'll talk about what we think could possibly happen, because personally I think Sinners could get #1 right back, which would be extremely impressive for its 4th week being in theaters, and that would be before the IMAX screenings that hit theaters again on the 15th of May. But let's read into this. Box office: Thunderbolts and Sinners to battle for #1 this weekend. There's an interesting and unexpected shift unfolding at the box office this weekend based on early internal estimates. Last week's #1 film, Thunderbolts, is projected to bring in around $30 million in its second weekend. That's a 60% drop from its debut. However, what's truly turning heads is that Sinners, now in its 4th weekend in theaters, is poised to challenge the Marvel release for the top spot. Directed by Ryan Coogler, Sinners is currently tracking to earn between $26 million and $28 million, reflecting a much smaller 25% drop from the previous weekend. This performance highlights the film's impressive staying power and growing word of mouth. It's become a word of mouth cultural phenomenon in the United States. Earlier today, Sinners crossed the $200 million threshold at the domestic box office and has earned roughly $60 million internationally, signaling strong global interest. On the other hand, Thunderbolts, despite Marvel's high-profile marketing strategy, which involved renaming and remarketing this film all entirely to the new Avengers, doesn't seem to be generating the kind of momentum many anticipated. While Thunderbolts is still expected to hit the $100 million domestic milestone by this afternoon, the contrast in week-to-week performance suggests it may not have the same long-term legs as Sinners. Coogler's film also recently nabbed a re-release in IMAX 70mm auditoriums from May 15th to the 21st, right before Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch, of course, which is what we talked about, and I'll be doing a separate video on that later. Definitely going to be an event. I was actually looking at theaters that are running Sinners in an area that's kind of close to me. They got the 70mm screen there for the projection, and those theaters are about 70% packed already, so I think this week they will be about 90 to 95% packed, if not 100. Definitely going to be very interesting. Ladies and gents, what do you think about this? I do think Sinners could retain #1 again. Thunderbolts could probably eke it out just because it's in its 2nd week, and they did the rename. As I said, Thunderbolts made $7.5 million on a Tuesday after that new Avengers rename, so not bad for them, but still a lot of competition, and obviously more competition to come next week with the Final Destination and then films following that. But I think this is an interesting battle and one that we could have some interesting dialogue about, so please chime in down below what you think about this and who you think is going to get #1 again. Does the Thunderbolts / New Avengers hold on, or does Sinners come back and get #1 again in its 4th weekend? Definitely impressive for an original film, especially with the cast that we talked about. Amazing work for Sinners and Warner Brothers. Ladies and gents, please subscribe to the channel and share this video with a couple of friends and colleagues. Helps us out a lot. Ring the bell for notifications and like this video. It's Neff signing off. Be safe.